I'm really delighted, as Bob said, to see so many of you. I coordinate lots of these events, and one never knows. It can be 4 people, it can be 30 people, but I really appreciate your making the time in what I'm sure is a busy day to come and talk with me about what is very much a work in progress. Many of you probably know that civic engagement scholars argue that small to medium-sized urban locales are particularly important to building democracy from the ground up. And I'm doing a study of civic engagement in a small urban locale like that, the city of Somerville, Massachusetts. And my research is focused on residents and voluntary associations that are actively involved in public affairs at the local level. Somerville is a century-and-a-half-old industrial city contiguous to Boston. It has approximately 77,000 residents packed into a dense 4 square miles, which makes it the densest city in New England. And it's particularly well suited to a study of civic engagement because not once but twice, once in 1972 and most recently in 2009, the National Civic League designated Somerville an All-America City. This award is sometimes referred to as a civic Oscar, celebrating local engagement, community activism, innovation and inclusiveness. And I confess that when I began my study, I of course didn't know that Somerville was going to win this award last year, and so it's one of those serendipitous things that sometimes happens in the middle of a research project. Somerville's rise to being an all-America city has been especially hard won, since this is the same city known throughout the mid-20th century as Scummerville or Somerville or Slummerville or Scummerville. People say this differently. And it's notorious for the Winter Hill Gang, loosely depicted in the 2006 award-winning film The Departed, starring Leo DiCaprio, one of my favorites, Matt Damon, local Cambridge boy, and Jack Nicholson, who we lay no claim to at all. But he did a great job playing the evil Whitey Bulger. So I want to begin by showing you a few pictures of what Somerville looks like. This is obviously an autumn picture. How whoever took that picture got to that angle, I don't know. I didn't take these pictures. This is a typical Somerville dwelling. We call them triple-deckers. They were built by low-income, often immigrant families so that the whole family could live there. This is a sort of high-end, gentrified, fancified triple-decker happening all over the city. This is a kind of typical old Somerville backyard. Usually that would actually be in an inverted bathtub with the Virgin Mary. This is a kind of fancy one. There are a few, this house looks like a single dwelling unit, but I'm not sure that it is. But this is another Somerville house. I want you to get the feeling of this is a kind of down and dirty kind of city, which is being gentrified. Another one, notice the dish there. This is an effort, and this happens all over the city, to claim the smallest little space and put a garden there. This is everybody's backyard. These grill fences are ubiquitous. They are everywhere in the city, and I don't know quite why that is. Interesting question. Somerville also has a very interesting history. Paul Revere rode through Union Square. It's the first place that flew the American flag. I'm not going to talk much about its history, but this is a mural in one of the squares, Union Square, for those of you who know the city. I was thrilled to find this picture, the local theater with The Departed playing there. It did open in Somerville, so this is a picture of that. This is a used furniture store, obviously. Lots of folks furnish their houses this way. This is Old Somerville, my favorite Italian restaurant, Little Vinny's. And this is the other major Old Somerville. The Irish and Italians actually make up 20% of the city. People talk about the three Somervilles, the old immigrant Irish and Italian community who runs the city, the newer immigrant community, mostly Latino immigrants, but also other groups, and the third group, what the local people call yuppies. Many of my former students, frankly, including my own son, who live in Somerville. So I'm not going to talk very much about that, but that's part of the research. This is a gentrified area in Somerville, Davis Square, and the Blue Shirt Cafe is what locals would call a bougie yuppie cafe, but to me it's sort of new Somerville, giving a respectful nod to old Somerville. This is a rap place. This is really more old Somerville, and this is where President Barack Obama lived while he went to Harvard Law School. He lived in the basement of this building, and you may remember that when he was running for president, a very small kerfuffle was when it was found that he had not paid his parking tickets. And you live in the city where the Winter Hill gang ruled for at least a period. You do not mess around about not paying your parking tickets. So of course he had to pay, and so that's his dwelling. So I just wanted to give you a little sense of what at least some of this city looks like. The qualitative study that I'm doing is based on 40 in-depth interviews with actively engaged residents, observations and field notes at over 30 community meetings, extensive reviews of city and community documents, reports, websites, newspapers. You get the idea. I focus on the 5-year period from 2004 to 2009, beginning in 2004 with the year that the city's young reform mayor, who will become an important player in the story I'm going to tell you later. My research questions are about how do the people in Somerville actively engage civically and politically in the public life of their city, through what kinds of organizational vehicles, in what sites and arenas, and around what key issues.